a special aid to the Honorable Boakye Agyarko. Francis, ekosi saying so ni akwaba.
Medasi pi mini apenyene akwenye ya diamame.
Na ete saying
nyame adom ahode wo ho megidi se onu atiefo nso ahode wo ho
nyame adom obia ho ye enti basically from statement enra mu issue ye no na the Honorable Boakye Agyarko wa hohoro ne nsa efi anything presidential election with the MPP on
no sene yenkrata ni sikire no inti se Obama makwenya kakra ma menkyere nsem ni mu kakra bi na atiefo titiri party for inya entiase no
me ma to yes
yeko Saturday na yeko to ya ba special electoral college no yekoyi nipa dodo no na aba enum na yeko ba no ebetu odwa se enum na ye hwehwe no afedie yenya ensia na tese e wo se yeko runoff na runoff ne ho ntotoye ne ahoboa na yekusu a ye ya enra ebeto odwa se National Council akohia na eginatu o mafa ne se runoff ya eba sui nipa 955 a enano memende twam omutu ye ni enye omu na ebesa to nemum National Council ekuo no a okan omudodo omu ya akọ 135 omu na ombeto na reason ti a omode yesa ne se yedi kan omu se budget constraint sika eni ho sa se yedi beye runoff now the 16 regions ebium amanone officers a omu free amanone ebeto abame mindi twam no National Council susu se dodo na ekọ back intino yenya nipa dodo na amomo meto ebio National Council kan wo brofum se expediency se de ebeye nintem so intino nimiensa reasons miensa intino National Council susu se 135 National Council members spending the beto
na meba menua sa reasons miensa na woma asisia no where did you get them from
the General Secretary's press engagement
in someone in some trofo kan no
me patwane
because I have the official statement a General Secretary in Sasha in front of me but in this statement wama reasons be you are saying say
I'm quoting the General Secretary from the press engagement Oye Nenra.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yansaka press engagement no and you responded to the chairman of the elections committee say Adia say a National Council no unfair and then it is an act of injustice. Isan say there is an agreed guidelines Yediko election, and then you don't change the guidelines in the middle of the game. Yenya and to say Yako general election December 7th. Let's say Akoba say MPP and NDC Yako runoff. Now Electoral Commission abase Ghana for runoff ya yekwe tikeni ho runoff ya yekwe yenyan mom frama no ni babeto no musako runoff ya yekwe nintemuntunti no mo amoto aba edikan no enyem na mbeto runoff nemum yedi kuo bi te say parliamentarians for eneto runoff no eba sa se Ghana for enye yede se bia na akosi wo MPP mu san senti na Yewura Boakye Agyarko atwe krata akoma chairman of the elections committee say MPP yebeye nhwe ha ma yebu yankasa yemra so edemra ahye nsem dia ene na Yewura Boakye Agyarko ompese odinidin anasa ne ho ebetwitwiri enoma bi sei intino watwe ne ho afri about 17 so montoa so na munye maba at the end of the day no oye party ni odaso o party ni na bibia o se oye boa party ni be bekoso aye sene oye ne sa no na we dey me de manu si na me to question ba ko atum say say 4th November ye beto na ye flag bearer
sure
say ye to na say no se ko run off National Council ne beto e decide ana
That's an interesting question, but is it not something the constitution of the party? Because if you look at provision, a share party necessarily omunya aspirants more than 5, omunya super delegate conference. That provision did not contemplate say a tie a constitutional provision and can be a possible runoff and what the party should do. And according to the party, elections committee, and a day process I said there would be a runoff. Even the elections committee rules, they just ended. I said there will be a runoff. Oman can procedure and what will go into that runoff. And National Council feels there is a lacuna, which lacuna the same constitution authorizes them or empowers them to deal with. And now, how the runoff will be done, why do you have a problem with that?
All right, let's agree. Say yes, national councils make regulations where the constitution does not speak directly to. Yes, but then again, don't you think say unfair to say that? Oma 955 now they are not going to vote for the runoff. Name a subsection of that 955 assuming the role or the functions of the 955 now to last Saturday. In any case, when there is an election and there comes a runoff, nipaku oma neto runoff no.
Yeah, and some can argue say when there is an election na runoff bar, there are rules that govern that particular election. If in that rules it's stated in black and white say runoff bar, the same people at and the sign atwa, there is a point. When in the regulation governing the election, that regulation says when there is a tie, there will be a runoff. And stated in black and white who will vote in that runoff. Can you then assume, say, or more a toy and a chinchinachi or so almost to runoff, no? And now, more constitution in National Council, coin, say, looking at the exigencies of the time, the prevailing circumstances, no? National Council can decide, say, okay, runoff, ye bear runoff, no? By a quiet befaswa. Can the National Council take that decision?
Before I answer that, let me draw your attention to some of the arguments a buyer, a man runoff, ever share the guidelines. Prior to the elections, some of the presidential aspirants made propositions say, "Yen use a composite ballot. Statistically, it will be impossible for a runoff." And to say the year national vice chairman Abana Yeno, Okwa o selected 3. Okwa no selected 3. In that case, statistically, we are there runoff intimate. Just like how our committee Abano. Statistically, runoff MM.
Okay.
All these provisions were made, they were suggested to the elections committee. That is where they brought in the case, say, Yankotuno 1:1. Now say Ebane say Ebimo enya banibia, then we will go for a runoff. And ordinarily, say a kotuaba na se runoff bar. Omo kotu first no, oma ne to runoff no. But here is the case, people are arguing, say, now, because the law is silent on that, National Council can pass a sub-guideline, and I say an addendum, to change the rules of the game and say only National Council, for which is a subsection of the Special College per NN Court. First of all, it is an unfair treatment. It is an act of injustice. Because National Council 435 cannot assume the role and position of 955 for Omokoto last Saturday.
You could see saying on Asempa FM.
Because of the enyese number ni so akeke, but just say National Council change rules no midway. and o boss ewo problem with, right?
Yes, he feels it is an act of injustice and then it is not fair. Violation of the guidelines. If that is what is going to happen this Saturday, and yeah, watching him away from.
But is your boss also minded, say, realistically, say, Oshe, the cost implications any idea at the end of the day, a tie, and that tie has to be broken for one person to join 4 na akano. And when there is within that democratic space, if there is any formula to break that tie, which would be an election of a sort, any idea, why should your boss be worried? Looking at the cost complaints, almost saying you was 17 voting centers, delegate all of those considerations, why is your boss not minded by those considerations as well?
First of all, there was an election guideline which stated if there is a runoff, it will be held on 2nd September, which also means elections committee ain't means sorry preoccupy and for dating says a runoff bar you better that say. It means elections committee omaya hoboa to order that. Because I believe that someone ya who want to kofa date and measure say run of bar you better say. Enti adia mabwa mu ama date say run of any bibian untimi mbaba say to say this can you enti no yan kwano kakra ne ma nipa kuma bi na ento.
Wow. Even if nipa kuma ni bi kra toa Sani Pakumana would help the party break that tie, Still, I'm more than
it is unfair for Nipakuma be say Omune Betu Abano on behalf of the 955 delegates.
Very well. Ain't the Honorable Boakye Agyarko says still, I know he's a member of the NPP and he will continue doing his best to support the party, right?
No, correct.
But as far as this elections is concerned, we're pulling out.
Watching every home. But then again, it was a letter directed the office of the chairman of the elections committee. We are still waiting for
a response from them.
Exactly.
It is a response, based on the response, Obos beat me as a son adjoin.
A brave response by let's hold on, say response in the then whatever that happens,
but now a letter Mode Kwakoma chairman of the elections committee namu hope is a response bebano. So when they ask him what to do because he's already made up his mind. We're making a decision that irrespective of the reasons the elections committee chairman would give, on a process, errant decision, unconstitutional, and that we're refraining from the entire runoff. And really, what response be on a most high train from the committee chairman?
At the end of the day, in the letter, we cited some unfair treatment. And so, if for nothing at all, the president, the chairman of the Presidential Elections Committee should reply so that we will know the justification for some of these unfair treatment I cited to a letter.
Apart from, because I know, sir, your boss or you'll be a stickler for due process, for excellence, making sure say Bibia aye pepe. Is he minded, after withdrawing, in order not to allow for the perpetuation of an illegality, is he minded to want to test this in court? Because I've heard different arguments. Say National Council was our power. Some have also said, say delegates be our toaba in the super delegate conference. He again has the right to be part of the runoff, a voting right which is guaranteed by the Constitution, and the human rights issue and all of that. Is your boss minded to want to test this whole thing in court?
Ukraine, there hasn't been any plan. Say you better test it at semi court.
Cites on Asempa FM 94.7.
Okay, mundi sa ankomo no.
Indeed, sir.
Very well. Ma menase inti bibiani a will come back and talk to you. Why, Francis?
May I say for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's a Francis Opon Usu, a special aid to the Honorable Boakye Agyarko, and I'm